Great track that, Jake Bugg and Zombieland off his new album coming out on the 20th of September. Right, I wanted to tell this story. I've been meaning to tell this story for weeks, and I haven't thrashed it out how I'm going to tell you this story. It's just bizarre. It's just a bizarre story, and at some point we're going to write a book. And I think this is going to be called something like the Breadbin Paradox. My neighbour told me this story. I went over to her house the other day, and sitting on the table was this sort of this just wooden thing that looked like it looked like a corner unit, a small corner unit. And I said, "What's that?" And she said, "It's a bread bin." I said, "All right," just sitting on the table. And she said, "I'll tell you all about it later." So anyway, we were going out, so she told me about this story, and it turns out, first of all, she got a son. Got a daughter as well, but got a son, and it was his birthday. He's 20 odd. He's at university. He was home for the holidays, and so he had a birthday, and he got presents from various different people, as you do because it's your birthday. And she came home from work, and sitting on the kitchen table was this bread bin, and so she said to her husband, "What's that?" And he said, "It's a bread bin." Right? Whose is it? Oh, it's the son's, right? Okay. Right, so who did it come from? We don't know. So this was the thing, the conundrum of the paradox, or conundrum of the bread bin, is who's it come from? And it perplexed my neighbour, because the son went, "I don't know," and he said, and he was at uni, so do you need a bread bin? He's moving into a shared accommodation. Well, yeah, I could do with a bread bin. But you don't know, you didn't mention it. Did you mention it to one of your aunts that you wanted a bread bin? No. Okay. So they rang, or she rang and contacted the relatives and said, "Have you bought him a bread bin?" No. And he said, "Well," and so she said to the son, "How did it turn up?" And he said, "Well, it was flat packed. I assembled it." And that's what's even weirder. I assembled it. What, you don't know who it's from? And he said, "Well, it was addressed to me." So it was addressed to came through that place that sounds like a big South American river, and he said it was addressed to me. It's it's obviously my bread bin, so I assembled it, not knowing who it's from. Anyway, about a few days later, I don't think it was a week. A few days later, the only person they hadn't asked was an auntie. And they just thought, well, it wouldn't be her. Anyway, they contacted her, and it turns out that it was her, but it was her bread bin. Because, you know, on that amazing online shop that sounds like a South American river, if you if you gift something to somebody or have something delivered to an address, it remembers that address. So she'd been staying with them a few months before and had something delivered to their address. She'd forgotten to change the address when she ordered this bread bin for herself, and it turned up at their house. The son, thinking, "Oh, it's addressed to me, it must be something to do with me," took it out, it's probably a bit bored, and assembled it. So now the auntie's saying, because they live the other side of the country, or 2 hours away, "Oh, you can send it to me." Well, it's fully assembled. So it's bigger than it was flat packed. But what amazes me about this whole story is you're trying to get teenagers or young people to do anything, and then suddenly when you don't want them to do anything, they assemble a blooming bread bin. It's a good job it won a chest of drawers. That's all I can say. Right, anyway, there you go, the Breadbin Paradox or whatever. This is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Let risk.